And we have to talk about this, Liz, the post,
Hmm.
that whole experience, because I was tracking that. I've got the blog, right?
Mhm.
And so I'm tracking, and Brian, I know you were intimately involved in this because you were the one that said, you've got to write this story on Catherine Graham, right? So let's just kind of walk through that history real quickly, because it's like you write the script, Amy Pascal calls you on a weekend, I think it is, in October.
It was
says
it was like a Friday night. So
Friday
Brian
night.
was actually in New York shooting Time After Time.
Yeah, a short-lived, God bless it, ABC show.
And so I had the script. I had written the script. I was a company called Starthrower Entertainment was attached to produce it.
And you pitched it, the idea to them years.
I had pitched the idea like 3 years earlier.
Like a random general meeting.
Yeah, and then I was, it's always one of those things. I was too afraid to write it. I was, thought I wasn't good enough. All of the things, I'm afraid of failure, all of those things. And then the second you do it, the thing you're afraid of, usually good things happen.
Yeah. Well, and they weren't going to pay you to write it, but they were like, that's a great idea. Write it and bring
Yeah.
it back and like,
So,
let's take a look at it when you get around to writing.
So I had spec'd it. And I didn't have an agent. I had my managers and my lawyer. And I really, from that script, just wanted a job. That was all I wanted. Like, I just wanted to get another job. The movie was, the script was, a period piece about a woman finding her voice at age 55. There's no sex. There's a lot of talking. And it's also, it's not even a paper chase because the thing they're looking for has already been published. Yeah. So it's really, it was chef's kiss, everything that everybody was looking for. I was like, no one is ever going to make this. And if they do, it'll be like a tiny little movie, but whatever. I just want a job. I was looking for an agent, and I had met with a few different agencies. They'd read the script. The script was sort of going around and people were really liking it, but I was kind of, this was my last shot at it. So I was pretty detached in terms of like, oh, I'm glad people like it. I really didn't have any kind of understanding of what was going on. And then it got slipped to a few different studios on a Thursday night. A friend of mine who worked at Fox at the time when Stacey Snider was running the company texted me on a Thursday night and was like, oh, my boss has the script on the plane. And I was like, great. And then 2 hours later, he was like, Stacey's reading it. And I was like, Stacey who? And he was like, Stacey Snider. And I was like, I hope she likes it. That's so lovely. Like, I didn't have any real concept. And then
I remember you freaking out about it.
But I didn't think any.
Cool. It was pretty.
No, I was not. I'm not cool. I was definitely not cool. But I didn't think it was like she was going to read it and make it. I was just like, that's awesome that Stacey Snider was reading it. I had been a huge fan of Stacey's, and it was just like, it was a very flattering thing.
But you just at the time you were just hoping that some agents would read it. Maybe one of them would sign you.
Yeah, it was just like, I would really love an agent, and I'd love to like go.
And
get a job.
You had a couple maybe meetings at some smaller agencies that were like kind of lined up, but that was it. And suddenly it was being read like everywhere. It was crazy. Like it was like
from Thursday night
to Jerry Maguire. It was like just a mission statement, but suddenly like everybody had it the next morning.
It was like from Thursday night to Friday afternoon. It felt like everyone in town was reading it, and there were offers coming in. And then Amy Pascal ended up coming in and buying it. And she called me at midnight. My manager called me and said, Amy bought the script. She wants to call you. And I was like, okay, sure. It was midnight. I was like in bed. Brian was in New York. I had been texting him to keep him updated, but he was on location. He didn't have service, and it was like 3 a.m. in New York. And then
I stayed up all night.
Yeah. We were all awake, and then Amy called me, and it was the first of many late night phone calls I've had with Amy. And she was like, so I bought this, we're gonna make this movie. Sound good? And I was like, okay, Amy Pascal. And that was October of 2016.
The script made the blacklist.
And then, and so then like a month, 6 weeks later, it made the blacklist. It ended up, Stacey Snider at Fox ended up coming on and partnering and being our studio. And we went to a few different directors. Steven Spielberg was never in the running because he was prepping another movie. And also it's I'm like, yeah, Steven Spielberg will direct my movie. That was not in the reality of my world. And so we'd gone to a few other directors. Important thing about this being 2016 also is that the election happened right after I sold the script to Amy.
It was 1 week.
It was
later.
1 week later. And we were convinced that Hillary was going to win, as I think the majority of the world was convinced. And when she didn't win, there was this moment where I was like, does anyone want to see a movie about a woman winning? Like, were we just told that this is not something? And Amy, to her credit, is like, we have to make this movie even more now. And again, that was what was relevant at that point. The power of the press, the freedom of the press, and the importance of the press was not even in the conversation at this point, because we didn't know what was about to happen. And so Trump takes office in January. After he's inaugurated, he begins to, kick the press out of the White House, out of the West Wing. Obviously, the press briefings, which, like, God bless Jen Psaki. I'm her biggest fan. I'm watching these things every day. It's like I'm like getting my popcorn. I'm just like, Jen, tell me what's going on. It's just so lovely to see you up there. But so it was, it was chaos. And so what had been happening in November, December, and up before January 20th was when we would send it to directors, the directors would pass and say, we don't know how this is relevant. We don't think it's relevant now. And we were like, it's relevant. It's about to be even more relevant. We didn't even know how relevant. And then a sort of confluence of events happened. Steven, the movie that he was prepping, the lead was a 9-year-old boy that he couldn't cast. He couldn't find, like, the perfect kid, which I've had a running joke that, like, I found the kid and I kidnapped him and I put him in, like, I like hid him away. And so I didn't do that, but it would have been a good joke. So he couldn't find the kid. Tom Hanks sent to the press room at the White House, which he does every 4 years. It just happened to be this year. I had seen it. He sent an espresso maker with a quote on a Post-it from Ben Bradley. And Meryl Streep gave a very big speech outlining the importance of the press.
Oh my
and
gosh, was that the Golden Globes?
No, I don't remember where it was. No, because by then it was like something else was happening. But so she gave this very big speech about, like, the importance of the press. And so all three of them, kind of right after Inauguration Day, and as this started snowballing, just kind of there was a zeitgeisty alignment. And over a weekend, Steven and Tom and Meryl all read the script. They all signed on, and we were in production 9 weeks later.
So, like, literally, I think it's, if the timing, 16 months it sells, and then 16 months later, you and Brian are at the premiere. Is that right? It was like that, like not even a year and a half.
It was like, yeah, it was like 14 months, which in the 14 months, we also got married. And you were in Toronto doing Shadowhunters. I was in Montreal doing Long Shot and Mindhunter. That was the next year.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a busy 14 months. But yeah, I sold it. They signed on, we were in production, sorry, it was 10 weeks later. We shot the movie in 9 weeks, and the movie came out in December.